Hi guys, welcome back to the latest video. Today we are covering chapter 304 of My Hero Academia that got leaked today. So this chapter really covers a lot of the vestiges and a lot of questions about One for All that we've all been wondering. So without further ado, let's hop right into the chapter. The chapter starts with All Might holding Deku's hand and saying that he felt One for All inside of Deku, but only vaguely. Deku was shown to still lay unconscious, but he was having an inner dialogue during this time, wondering how everyone is doing, including Gran Torino, Aizawa, Kacchan, Ryuko, Endeavor, and more. This goes to show that even in Deku's current state that he's in, going through all of the pain, being unconscious, he's still worrying about others. That just goes to show how much of a hero Deku really is and how much he is concerned with others' well-being rather than his own. The next panel shows Deku in a room with the vestiges of One for All together, but the second and third users were standing facing the wall, so we still don't get to see them or their faces. I'm unsure why their identity is hidden, but Horikoshi being the author, she is. I'm sure it'll be revealed soon enough. And we see the first user explain that back then they could only interfere vaguely with those who inherited One for All. But since 4 months ago, One for All had grown rapidly, and now the consciousness of each predecessor had become clearer and clearer, and now they can communicate with each other, which isn't something that would previously be able to happen with the other users or the inheritors. The first user explained that in the last battle with his big brother, All for One tried to pull One for All by force out of Deku, and it caused them to be able to appear even more in front of Deku. The fifth user named Banjo said that Deku shouldn't worry because they will guarantee to keep Deku's privacy. And to me, although this statement is kind of vague, to me that kind of means that they can see all that goes on within Deku's mind and of course his life, which is why they mentioned the privacy. Banjo realized that Deku in this other world with the vestiges doesn't have a mouth, but since the fight with Shigaraki, Deku could form vowels now, meaning his mouth in this vestige realm had started to form. It seems the more he progresses with his quirk, the more he progresses with One for All, he's able to speak more with these former users and gain more physical consciousness in this realm. The next to talk is the fourth user named Shinimori Hikage. He explained that in the last battle, Deku unexpectedly used his power, and Banjo teased Shinimori, saying that he's a weirdo. And it seemed that Banjo and Shinimori seem to have quite a friendly relationship together, and they're kind of like friends, which is really cool to see the previous users interact this way. Shinimori explained that his cause of death at the age of 40 was due to old age, and Deku was surprised because 40 years old is not a long time to be alive, but he continues stating that One for All is not something a normal human can use. So we learned something here. Those who inherit One for All and try to keep it with them without passing it on die of old age because their body cannot handle such a power. Similarly to Attack on Titan, when those who inherit the Titan powers, their lifespan is automatically limited. It seems that those who deal with great powers such as this, regardless of whatever anime it is, they give up part of their lifespan to use this immense power. We see Shinimori spend 18 years running from All for One because he knew he couldn't defeat him, and he tried to foster his power during this time. But on his last years, he felt the side effects of One for All on his body. At first, he thought that's because he was training wrongly or he had got some kind of disease, but thanks to All Might's research, he is now sure his death was due to One for All's multiple quirks and that it burnt his life force, making his body age faster. This panel is super important as it keys us into the fact that All Might has been researching a ton regarding One for All, possibly to understand his own mortality during his time inheriting this ability and to see how much longer he has left or what are the effects of this immense power. However, All Might actually has possessed One for All longer than the fourth user did, and All Might is evidently still alive. So there had to be something that differentiated the fourth user and All Might. And Deku figured that it's due to the fact that All Might was quirkless like himself, so the gaining of the multiple quirks was less stressful on his body. So, if someone already has a quirk and received All for One, it would cause them to shorten their lifespan even further. But since quirkless people are like empty glasses, they're very suitable for One for All's power. And so passing it on to people with quirks will only make them die young. And the vestiges concluded that Deku cannot pass One for All to another person, and that Deku will in fact be the last holder. This statement gave me chills. I'm unsure how they came to this conclusion, but it seems that since Deku is the last holder of this immense power, this immense gift, this means that Deku will be humanity's last chance to defeat All for One, because as we know, All for One is essentially immortal as it is. He's been alive a very long time, and he seems to have a ability that allows him to remain alive and healthy, which is very much a burden to society. But One for All exists to counteract All for One and his abilities, and it exists to eventually defeat him. And as a result, Deku is the last one to inherit this torch and will be the last one to inherit this torch. So Deku now has an even more burden to carry. There is no plan B. The last panel of this chapter shows Nana Shimura asking Deku, "Can you kill Tomura Shigaraki?" Which will put Deku in quite a moral situation, because Deku in this past arc concluded he viewed Tomura as someone worth saving. He feels bad for Tomura. He feels like he's being manipulated by All For One, of course, which he is, but that doesn't make Tomura Shigaraki immune to all the terror and destruction and evil he has caused throughout his life. However, if Tomura is someone he needs to kill in order to save society, will Deku be able to do it? You know, often in shonen protagonists, the shonen protagonist never kills anyone throughout the entire series, and if they do, it's very, very minimal. What I would like to personally see is for Deku to have to make that moral choice to kill Tomura in order to save society, even if that goes against his ethics to an extent. You know, ideally everyone wants to be saved. We want to save everybody, but I would find the story even more enchanting than it already is if Deku has to make this decision that will forever change him. Mind you, this question asked is from the grandmother of Tomura Shigaraki, which shows the gravity of the situation that this vestige, this former user of One For All, who's the grandmother of Tomura, that she views the end result as her grandson most likely being killed. It's tragic. This chapter was absolutely brilliant. I really love when they touch on the deep lore of this ability and continually add to the many elements that make One For All what it is. And seeing how One For All affects those with quirks far more than those without is interesting, and it demonstrates the intensity of such power. See, it makes me also wonder, did All Might possibly know that those who are quirkless are better inheritors for One For All? Is that possibly another reason why he chose Deku along with Deku's obvious heroic tendencies? Also, seeing Deku as the last wielder of One For All, of course, is expected, but I didn't expect Deku to be fully cognizant of that burden at this current point. But I guess given the intensity of what's going on in the world and the world essentially falling apart, I'm not all surprised. Deku now understanding that all these vestiges are counting on him, along with society resting on his back, it's bound to put a lot of pressure on him. And I hope this will send Deku into overdrive in training and gaining as much information as possible to wield the powers within him and be the one to finally end All For One. Guys, as usual, the chapters by Horikoshi are godlike, and I really, really wait each week for these chapters to come out so we can see more of this story progress. Guys, I've really appreciated the support from all of you lately, and if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And even if this video wasn't your favorite, by the time you watch this video, it will be my 23rd birthday, so perhaps a thumbs up for that. As always, guys, I'll be pumping out more videos throughout this week and next week. I believe I have a Jujutsu Kaisen video coming out Friday or Saturday, so be on the lookout for that as well. And as always, guys, I will see you all next time.